Now we have more details on the Eternals. Recently, the actor Kumail Nanjian sat down and talked about what the Eternals have been up to around Earth. Well, they weren't really being heroes, let's just start with that. Also, spoilers after the intro. Now, I know depending on what fandoms you're plugged into, you probably are or are not aware of the Eternals and the hype for it. Believe me, there is hype for it. And I think, we're going to start seeing that really soon once they release our first look or poster or anything that comes out. Now, recently, while the actor Kumail was part of an interview, he talks about some of the elements of the film. And there's an interesting quote, which I will link the article down below for you guys, but here's what he said about where he's been. And he says, and I quote, "We were sort of sent to Earth thousands of years ago to protect Earth from these monsters called the Deviants. And that's sort of our story. And a lot of it is set in the present, so by this point, we've been on Earth for a long time. And my character, for instance, we were all like, alright, keep a low profile. Nobody should know. And so, I go on and become a Bollywood movie star. That's like my secret identity." So effectively, what will you learn from this is, yes, they've been on Earth for thousands of years, masquerading among basic human beings. And if you look at how they're approaching this movie, that they're going to be dealing with ancient Babylon, Egypt, Mesoamerican tribes, and all that, you start to understand how they try to blend in and maybe even portray themselves as actual gods so they could survive and live on in some of these harsh conditions. And obviously they were here, like they say, because of the deviants, got to protect humanity. Now, at the same time, like he says, he has a secret identity, and since they've been here this entire time, they outright ignored everything else happening on Earth. So Thanos attacks, they don't care. The original Avengers attack, they don't care. Ultron, they didn't care. So it's going to be interesting to see how they explain this and what is their point of view and how do they view everything on Earth as opposed to how do they view each other as well, since they're, well, godlike creatures, right? They're Eternals. So yeah, more details and pretty spoilery there in case some people didn't want to know those details, but great overall. Sounds pretty awesome. Now I'm only wondering how long are they going to keep an actual secret identity, because it doesn't look like anybody in the MCU can actually have one.